Welcome back on Weltsound, guys. This week we're gonna talk about the new track by Space92, his new Drumcode EP, Time. I want to talk about the track Voyager though, because this one I think is even more interesting. In this video I rebuilt the track and we're gonna have a look how everything works. Let's go. So in this video we want to check out the new track Voyager, as I said. So now let's have a listen first and then I'm going to show you all the sounds and how they are made. And don't forget, as always, of course, some sounds in this video. It's the lead sound and the bass line. The presets I made with Serum, they are available as a free download, so check it out. Follow the link in the description. And now let's have a listen. Alright, that's a very cool track once again by Space92. He's doing a lot of cool productions all the time. That's why we like to have a look at them here on the channel. Maybe let's start by talking a little bit about the beat. The beat is a very simple, very techno-esque beat, right? We have this super strong kick drum, which we're gonna have a look at in a second, with this extremely plucky. We have this kind of eighth hi-hat, and then we have actually very smart combination, which is, it's kind of a 16th hi-hat and an offbeat at the same time. And this is the whole combination with the beat, right? So the hi-hat samples, one is the 909, you have it in, you're able to for yourself. The other one is part of our Peak Time Volume 2 sample pack, so check this one out. And now let's talk about kick and bass first. It's the two tracks up here. So we start by checking on the kick drum. I've used 909s for this, two 909s. And I divided this into two layers. The first one, sorry for that. The first one, super plucky. The second one is the low end, the body of the sound. We can start with the plucky one. So sustain is all the way down, right? Decay is like also very short. So if we disable all the effects on here, maybe we also disable this. Like this, Maxoscope, we don't need it right now. This is what it sounds like, right? This is the 909, so we took down the sustain a little bit, and now let's see what happens. This compressor is not really doing a lot. It really starts to get interesting here. So here, this is what I did after I added the overdrive. So in the beginning I didn't have this, right? I only had this. And then, can you hear the difference? It's much, I mean, you can hear it much better than if you don't have the overdrive, because the overdrive lifts up a lot of the sound and therefore you can really hear the slight changes. So those are like pre-FX, and then the overdrive is our main FX here. It creates this very metallic and harsh sounding texture, right? You can copy those settings for your kicks. And then we EQ, take away a lot of the bass, also some like mid frequencies here, and we boost the high frequencies because this kick is so high frequency present. And lastly, we take this compressor because I wanted it to be just a little bit more focused on the hit. Then next we have the lower layer. This one is a bit easier, just some saturation to thicken up the sound, and the two together sound like this. Also, I've used a lot of attack here. That's maybe important. Doesn't sound like this, but rather like this, because I already get a lot of transient here, right? And adding those three makes the kick very, very strong. So this is one of your first downloadable sounds. It's the Voyage bass, Voyage, something like this. Yes, and essentially it's a saw wave. It's very simple. It works by using the different modulations, right? We have a few modulations, but they are very important. I also have a sub layer to boost the fundamental frequency, because the sine wave only has the fundamental frequency. So we boost the sub, essentially. This is also why it's called sub, right? So that makes a lot of sense. This is what this would sound like, right? Without all the effects. And then if we put on the filter, still not so much, right? So what we did is we put the note on the amp and the velocity a little bit on the cutoff, and also the note on the cutoff, right? So, oh wait, sorry, I was confused. This should be note as well. Velocity is a little bit on the amp, and note is both on amp and cutoff, which means those are louder and more open, while those ones are quieter. This is how we get this very, very strong accent on the offbeat. Let's compare this, just... Right, you can hear how there's just like more accentuation happening. And if we go back to the sound, now this is already everything we need, but to shape it furthermore, I'm using this tape saturation distortion. I'm also applying some envelope on the filter. As I keep saying in all my videos where I use Serum, distortion plus filtering, this is the combination you need. So tape saturation helps to glue the sound together, also take away the very harshness of digital sounds, and then the filter is just sounding great here. With the EQ, I'm boosting just a little bit here around 350 Hertz, because we needed this frequency in the mix, kind of, with the other sounds. And then I wanted to use this chorus. And I really wasn't sure, is he using a chorus? Because the sound is not wide, which is why I decreased the width a little bit, but it has this chorus feeling. If anyone has like better ideas to do this, let us know in the comments. Of course, anyway, let us know in the comments how you like this video, if this was helpful for you, if the sounds that we are making here on the channel are helpful for you, if you could use them in your own productions. Yeah, you can always let us know. So I've used this chorus just to make it, to give it this kind of more voices feeling. Right, and I think it's very important, and this is why then those two effects come in handy, decreasing the width a little bit and also taking all the low end out of the sides. So we are still very mono compatible, don't worry. And then here also some side chaining also in the low frequencies. Not gonna explain too much on this because I did a video about this just like 4 weeks ago maybe, so I'm gonna link this up here. It's about bass lines. This bass line is a little different in pattern, but it's the same in mixing, right? So you can check it out in this video after you finish this one, because now we go to the main sound. And the main sound here is very interesting because we have this very, very like present bass line. So we need to make some space, and we can't have our sound we can't have the sound to have more like too much sub frequencies, essentially, like not even sub but just bass. It shouldn't be too present in the bass, also not in the highs, because they're the hi-hats and all. So the beat should also be very high present, so it feels very like aggressive and upfront. So where does this leave us? What do we have? We have the mids, of course, and this sound is very mid-rangey, doesn't have a lot of bass and also doesn't have too much highs, and therefore it's like sitting right in the middle. And that's cool because when it plays here right in front of the drop, you wouldn't even notice, but there's a lot of frequencies missing actually. If we look at this in like a spectral analyzer, we're missing all that and all that. And if it comes in on the drop, right, bam, all the frequencies are there. This is why what's so cool about this, and this is also like already one of the biggest lessons that you can get from looking at his tracks here, like the way he uses sounds in different frequencies areas and then takes some in the break and then adds some on the drop to fill out the frequencies and therefore give you this energy boost, right? So let's look at the sound. The lead here, it's very clearly pulse wave modulation to me, but it was not too easy actually to find the exact right settings. I was using this bandpass, but just to focus some frequencies here, I was putting the cutoff to 1700, so this is the area that I wanted to focus on. And then I had two saw waves, both pulse wave modulated, and a square wave, a little bit lower to give a little bit more body. Still, we're taking away some sub-frequencies, but there's also harmonics that we get out of this sub-oscillator if we use like the square wave, for example. So this is why we used all those different oscillators. And also, please note that there is like a little pitch envelope here, so we get just a little bit more pluck. But actually, most of the things is happening in the FX here. If we disable all of them, this is what we sound like. But we want to sound like this, right? So first of all, you can see exactly what I explained already, this EQ shape, taking away bass, taking away high frequencies, right? Then next we have distortion, and this is a very strong distortion. In the beginning I had very soft distortion, and over time, while I was doing this rework, I made the distortion stronger and stronger and stronger, so that at the end I had diode 1, which is one of the strongest in Serum. And therefore I'm only mixing it in on the, like it's modulated by the envelope, right? So only with the shape of the envelope, like this, we have distortion, we have like more thickness, which creates the power on the initial hit, right? And therefore leaves the sustain of the sound a little more weaker. Also the filter is automated here, kind of the same vibe as in the bass line. And then some more filtering, because why not? No, because we really wanted to get the high frequencies under control. And also now with all the diode, I think we had too much higher frequencies once again. So taking away some of them. Last time though, I promise. Not so much if you look down here, but and yeah, lastly we have this 8 notes delay, and the envelope, where is it actually? The envelope 1 controls the mix, but in the opposite way, which means whenever the sound is playing, the mix is at 0, but as soon as the sound stops playing, the mix will go up. And this is where we can hear the delay. It's essentially like sidechaining. You can also see this little knob. Whenever it hits, it goes down and then it comes back up. So in the space between the notes, the delay is fully there. So this sound you can download for yourself. And now if you look at this, we have a reverb here, we have some more EQing, a little bit of saturation, and some sidechaining, of course. So this is all the magic about this sound already. So if you want to know a little bit more about the session, consider joining us in our Sound Mentorship, because for the mentorship, actually every week we have some additional content. So you're part of the group, you can get feedback from all of our mentors and also the other guys that are in the mentorship group, right? And that's already like so cool, because you have this big community of like-minded producers, right? And you can connect to each other, you can get remixes, you can get whatever, everything you need, right? You can just talk there and yeah, have your tracks feedback, which is maybe the most important thing. And on top of that, you get like little goodies, like little sample packs or little like presets. For example, for this week, you get the whole Ableton session of this rebuild. So If that sounds interesting for you, consider it. There is a link up here if you want to join the mentorship. And anyways, I hope this was helpful for you to get an overview over Space 92's new EP on Drumcode. And so for now, all I can say is I hope you had a good time in this video. See you very soon, and until then, keep making music.